Random albinism chat with Kristina and Dr. Jay. OCA1a people in the minority.
And I tell you what, I'm really noticing more and more. So we had about 90, I would think there were 95 people, so there were quite a few. And I want to say about 30 kids with albinism. And the people that come now, I would say the people who have like OCA1a, they're in a minority. There's more and more people who who kind of, unless you know albinism, well, you wouldn't necessarily know they've got albinism. It's really weird because it didn't used to be like that. So I don't know if it's because more people are being diagnosed, I guess.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So years ago, those kids would have still been out there with poor vision. They might have had we don't know what's wrong with them, they've just got bad eyes diagnosis, but they wouldn't have ever been told that they've got albinism. Partly from the genetics, but also partly because we're better at looking for the features now. So yeah, no, that doesn't surprise me at all. Actually, I noticed it last time I was at the fellowship as well. You're right, the OCA1As are actually in the minority now, which makes sense because it isn't as common.
So for every, how many of me do you see against people who have 1B or another type?
So my clinics are biased, right? Because I see the slightly more complex ones where people aren't sure. I'd probably have a biased cohort, but for me in my clinic, it's probably 6-1.
Really?
Yeah.
What are we saying the genetics of, like, the incidence of albinism is? Like, what is
well,
what we saying?
It's massively variable. So in some populations, tiny pockets around the world, it's 1 in some 100. It just varies massively. But yeah, I think we don't really know because so many of the mild ones go undiagnosed even now. And a lot of them will just have foveal hyperplasia and nystagmus, and that's what they'll be called, So I don't honestly know what the incidence is or prevalence is, but it's definitely more than the numbers quoted.
So, but then does that mean, so if it's 1 in, say, 14,000, does that mean then, so if we're also saying there's more people who have like 1B, OCA2, that then if you dig down that have like 1A, isn't 1 in 14,000, that would be 1 in...
Less than that.
Is that how that works? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But the 1 in 14,000 is a really blunt way of finding it. So it's probably better at picking up the people with 1A and less good at picking up the others. So 1A would be even rarer than 1 in 14,000. There would be a section of that group.
Yeah, we're absolutely the minority now. We're being taken over. But interestingly, I think some people who have 1A feel like, hold on 1 minute, you say you've got albinism, but your experiences of having albinism are just having a visual impairment. And like, say for me and people with 1A, it's,
there's a lot of other stuff. Yeah.
It's the vision, but it's also a lot more to do with the other that you get from everybody else is what it is. So it's
it's interesting time, isn't it? No, you're right. It's interesting, and I suppose you could also divide people into those with eyes that move and those that don't, right? Because their experience of it will be completely different, regardless of what colour their hair and skin is. And
it's
even some people with 1A have slightly better vision than others. So it depends if you want to go down the route of dividing groups or having a... This almost sounds philosophical, but there's more similarities than there are differences, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one. But it's very interesting.